A Rockford mother honors the lives of her daughter and granddaughter with a memorial blood drive. WIFR's Bria Walters talks to Annie Mormon, who is keeping Ashley and Tilly Russell's legacy while saving lives.
To remember her, both of them.
For Ann Mormon, March 18th is a day of remembrance on what would be her daughter Ashley Russell's birthday. Now it's an annual blood drive.
If this was somebody else, she would be doing it.
Russell died in November 2024 after an epileptic seizure that caused cardiac arrest. She was pregnant and just days from her due date. Her daughter, Otiliana, was born via C-section. She stayed in the NICU for 10 days, but did not survive.
She was so excited to be a mom. That was what she wanted. She had a name picked out since she was a teenager, and that was Otiliana.
When nurses from UW Health approached Mormon about a memorial blood drive, she was on board immediately.
They asked me last year when they had it if we wanted to do this annually, that they would like to. And I said, what better way than to celebrate her birthday?
And last year, 77 successful blood donations happened, with 30 new donors showing up to support the family.
People who have never rolled up their sleeve and given blood before decided to come out and do that, which makes a huge difference.
To Mormon, it's important to hold a drive because blood donors helped Russell.
And she started losing blood, and it didn't stop.
The drive isn't the only thing Mormon does to remember her daughter and granddaughter.
We will probably have her favorite dinner that night, enchilada casserole.
And she hopes people donate blood on March 18th because every pint has a purpose.
This could happen to anybody, and to think about that.
In Rockford, Bria Walters, WIFR News.
Hosted by the Rock River Valley Blood Center, the drive will take place between 8:30 in the morning to 2:30 at UW Heart Health Hospital and UW Women and Children's Hospital. As a thank you for a life-saving contribution, all donors will receive a Culver's voucher for a pint of ice cream.